This is Brother Saleh I'm out to Battery Park in Old Newcastle, Delaware. I don't know, as I was walking, it came to my mind that it might be a good point to share about something that the minister covered in one of the study guides, a few study guides back, and that was the topic and the challenge concerning intellectual cowardice or cowardice. The minister challenged people that are in the study group to take a risk and to try to speak about what they understood and to some detail. And to me, it was obvious the reason why. The reason, as far as my understanding is that when we're in our earlier development and in the lower faculties of or lower spheres of our learning faculty, we engage what we call indiscriminate mimicking, meaning that we're parrots. We can quote what someone says, and particularly if that person has significance to us, right? We can remember every word that they say and quote it with great detail. But if questioned, we lack understanding of the principles that's involved. And so in your earlier stage of development, you learn words, but you don't really have a comprehension of the principles that are involved. So it's important that we begin to start learning in ways that challenge us. Now, I had an advantage. My advantage was that I spent a number of years in prison, and that's where I did the lion's share of my studying. But it encouraged me to go into detail, like if I was interested in a particular topic, then I would exhaust that topic by going into everything I could find about it. And instead of learning to quote what people said, although you still sometimes do that, I was encouraged to learn to understand the principle surrounding that thing that I was interested in. An interesting thing happened the other day. I was talking to a brother, and we were just coming out of the mosque, and a sister who was sharing, she was talking about how come white folks are so quick to kill us, and she associated that with a fear. And she was describing a situation where it was a 12-year-old little girl and involved with a 30-some-year-old teacher or guidance counselor or some person that was in the school. And during the video that was being taken, you could see the grown man's hands trembling as he tried to struggle with this 12-year-old girl. And so she was talking about fear, but I think that sometimes it is fear, but it is of a slightly different nature than like I'm scared of you, but I'm overwhelmed by you is more of what it is. And what I mean by that is, as we are people of color, or the children of the sun, we have a lot of melanin and what we call neuromelanin. And what this does is it makes us vibrate at a higher rate than other beings in the planet. I mean, it's just simple as that. That's why when we produce music, it goes all around the world and everybody starts popping their finger to it. When we do dance, it goes all around the world. Everything that we create resonates with everybody else and becomes the trend or the fad that other people get caught up in. And the reason why is because our life force is of greater magnitude. So my experience in prison was that as I began to study and become more confident of who I was, and particularly as I began to try to study the knowledge of God in person, I began to find that my vibratory rate was a lot higher than the correctional officers and the people that were there to maintain and secure me. And this caused them to be really disturbed by me. And at first, I didn't really quite understand it, but after a period of time, I saw it. We have tremendous energy that generates from us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was an example to us because this little man, although small in stature, his energy generated a movement, but that not only created the Nation of Islam, but affected every aspect of not only black people's lives, but the whole society. he generated force and energy from his mind and from his being. And that's what we see the Minister Farrakhan doing right now. And what he's trying to do is teach us to come up into that mind and be people that are doing the same thing. Instead of just people talking or studying, he said, do. That's what his message is to us. Are we fake Muslims in the sense that we are just there, coming to the mosque every day and doing certain things, right? But actually having no impact in the world, not really generating anything that's lifting consciousness and waking people up or affecting change? Or are we going to be people that pretend that's what we are, or just get behind somebody else? Now, it's not nothing wrong with, if you're not developed, to get behind somebody else and work to help them do the work. That's, a natural thing, right? But those of us who claim to be leaders, and those of us who claim to have a hold and a grasp of this teaching, we have to learn to become generators ourselves. And so what I find myself in a situation that sometimes I be trying to share some stuff with people, and if I don't use the exact language that's being used in the mosque, then they can't hear me. In fact, they become frightened of what you're saying. And the truth is, I may be saying the very same thing, or just an advance of what it is that they're trying to talk about at the time. So intellectual cowardice is more than just being afraid to speak, but actually beginning critical study, a process of really trying to understand the principles of things. Just something to think about. This is Brother Salih, Zep Tepe Institute. Assalamu alaikum.